Hello and welcome to the latest OpenCRM webinar. This is the newest webinar in our series that is designed to give you ideas and help you to make the most of your journey using OpenCRM. In this webinar, we're almost going back to basics. Take a look at the name CRM, Customer Relationship Management. I know that most of you are great at managing your customer data, but CRM can do so much to help manage those relationships, and that's what we'll be exploring in the next 20 minutes or so. If you enjoy this video, it would be great if you could like and subscribe to our channel, and feel free to add comments to the video. Today we're going to be looking at activities in the broader sense. You could consider these activities to be any interaction that make your CRM a dynamic solution that helps manage your business relationships. At a basic level, activities tend to be calls, meetings, and tasks. They contain details such as a subject, description, date and time, and duration. The key detail is also that they are linked to records they relate to. This is often a contact, a company, and something like a ticket or a project, or in this example, an opportunity. If I edit this activity, you'll see at the bottom there is a follow-up activity section. This is really useful as it allows me to create a follow-up linked to the activity. If I now save my completed activity with a scheduled follow-up, this does a number of things. Firstly, it drops off my to-do list and my follow-up activity has been added. We'll be looking at activity management shortly. Secondly, if we look at the linked opportunity, you can see that the last action and next action fields in the system information section have been completed automatically. At a glance, you can see how recently you engaged with your opportunity and when the next touchpoint is scheduled. I'm going to hand over to Danny, who's going to explain why we find this useful.
Thanks, Tom. As you've just seen, you can easily generate a list of opportunities that have no next action date. But what does that actually mean? So if there's no next action against an opportunity, it's suggesting to you that opportunity actually isn't being worked on. If it was, it would have a next action date, a call, a meeting, a task against it. But if it hasn't, it's either A, going cold, or B, not being worked on. So it then gives you an opportunity to do something with it. And actually, you can remove it from your pipeline if it's no longer an open opportunity.
Thanks, Danny. To look at the details of what's happened so far on my opportunity, I just need to look at a couple of tabs at the bottom of the page to get the full picture. The Pending tab shows me everything that is scheduled, and the History tab shows me everything that has happened so far. If we consider these pending items, the best place to see what needs actioning is by looking at your to-do list. This is a list of all your current and overdue activities. You can work your way down the list, and when you've done something, just use the complete function. This opens the activity in question, updates to add in the current date and time, and sets the status to done. Don't forget you could use the follow-up section here if you want to. When you close the activity, it will drop off your to-do list and you can carry on working your way down the list. Your to-do list can effectively serve as your daily schedule. I showed you how saving an activity updates any related records with details such as last action or next action, but did you know you can also access a wealth of information from within the activity itself? If you look at the linked records, you'll see a series of icons next to them. This is a really powerful function I'm sure you'll benefit from. Imagine you are now on this activity. Without leaving this screen, click the eye to open the linked contact record in a pop-up window. Not only can you look at the contact details, but if you scroll to the bottom, you can see all the related interactions, pending and historic activities, but also anything else. Whilst you're on the call, You can quickly view things like past sales orders, open projects and that kind of thing. Maybe there's been a recent help desk ticket, so whilst you're making your account management call, you can check if the client was happy with the resolution. If you need to update the contact record, for example, edit a mobile number, you can do this instantly too. Gone are the days of making notes and doing this retrospectively. You can confirm and manage this on the call itself. Emailing directly from an activity is another fantastic feature. Whilst you're on the activity, if you click the email button, it will load up the email screen with the relevant contact email address populated. All you need to do is select the relevant email template or type your email and hit send, and you can send that email whilst you're on the call with your customer. If you're familiar with emailing from OpenCRM, then you will know all about merge variables. You can use these to pull information such as contact first name into an email, for example. But seeing as you can merge from any field, you could formulate an email that confirms details of the meeting you're arranging with your customer. You can merge details such as the meeting date, time, location, and even an activity description to provide meeting notes. Again, this function is designed for you to work in an agile way, completing all the details of the activity there and then, rather than having a series of jobs to do after the fact. Strike while the iron's hot, and you can also get confirmation that the person that you're talking to has received your email whilst you're still on the call. I find that helps make my work life super efficient. The next thing I want to show is how to create a bulk activity. Here's a scenario to think about. You've just imported a list of leads and dished them out amongst your sales team members. Did you know you can create a bulk activity for a group of records? If you go to a view of these new leads, select all the leads for one of the sales team and create an activity to schedule that initial call. As you can see, that has lined up a series of calls for Frank to make. As we saw before, he can work his way down his to-do list and make those calls. Again, this process ensures that leads don't go unattended, helping you make the most of your data. Telesales could use something like this to easily schedule follow-ups with anyone who's clicked through a link on an email campaign, for example. Inevitably, you won't get to make all those calls as planned, and in such cases, you have the reschedule function. You can use this to reschedule one or more activities, and you have a number of useful options. You can move the activity forward by either a specified number of days or reschedule them for a specific date. I've mentioned the to-do list a couple of times, but let me quickly explore some of the ways you can view your activities. As well as in the activities module itself, the calendar is a great place to get an overview of what you have going on. The calendar is a highly configurable graphic representation of your activities. You can view a single day, 5-day, week or month period, and you can chop and change the activity types included. On the calendar, you have the ability to drag and drop activities, giving you an easy way to reschedule something or change the duration. From here, you can also edit activities or change the status. You'll notice how my calendar is configured with a red border and a white background. Let me hand over to Danny to say a few words about colour coding on the calendar.
As you've just seen, those are the colour-coded calendars. That's easy for me to say. Each person actually colour codes their own. It's a really simple thing, but as soon as you do that, it stops being the calendar and becomes their calendar. Simple but effective. But from a management point of view and a user perspective, if you wanted to see a team of people, for instance, you could see everybody's calendars really easily, and by their colours you can see who's doing what and when. And there's also another tool where you can just take another person's calendar and put it overlaid with your own. So if you're trying to organise a joint meeting, you can easily see when you're both available. Really simple but useful tool.
Thanks for that, Danny. Here you can see exactly what he was talking about, with different colours representing the activities for different users. So the admin user activities in red and Frank's activities with that black border that you can see. Recurring activities are another essential. You know those weekly team meetings you have, or a monthly catch up with a client? By setting up a recurring activity series, you can get all the activities set up in one go. Here you can see those activities have now been set up and are visible on the pending timeline. If you need to make any changes, you have the option to edit the series or delete the series, or edit or delete the individual activities within that series. I'm sure you can think of plenty of examples where that recurring activity series will come in useful for you. So far, we've been looking at ways of manually creating activities. Now I want to show you some of the automation that's available around this. Action plans give you the ability to automatically load up one or more activities against a record. So if I go to a contact record and select the brochures action plan, when I save, you'll see a few things have happened. In the action plan field, I can see brochures, and this icon tells me when I triggered this. Under the pending tab, or in the pending view on timeline, I can see the activity that has been automatically created by the action plan. This time I'm going to use a condition that will trigger an action plan automatically. I'm going to use a condition based on a company becoming a customer. If I now update this company record, as you can see, the activities and action plan have triggered automatically. We've also built a fail-safe in here, whereby if that condition is no longer met, it will cancel any future activities. That's a great feature if you wanted to schedule a longer term plan for a whole sales order or project journey, for example, but that circumstances change on that project and you no longer want those future activities scheduled. Action plans are just one example of the kinds of workflow and automation you'll find in OpenCRM. We have a great webinar around automations on our YouTube channel, so go and have a watch to see what else the system can do for you. We have another clever automation specific to activities that allows you to add scoring to your activities automatically. Scoring allows you to add a degree of importance to an activity. Imagine a call to a potential client where you speak to a receptionist and get no further. You're unlikely to consider this call as important as, for example, a meeting with the managing director of the same company. You could use scoring to allocate more points to a meeting compared to a call. You could also increase that score total based on criteria such as job title or anything else. Those individual scores are recorded at activity level, but you can also tally them against a lead, contact or company record. Hopefully that gives you a couple of ideas as to how you could use activity scoring in your own business. By recording your past, present and future interactions in your CRM, that gives you a complete picture of what's happening with your customers. You can also use that data for analysis by running reports. Once again, I'm going to hand over to Danny for some insight into activity reporting.
So let's talk about reporting, more specifically activity reporting. Most people think I want to know the number of calls, meetings, tasks or notes that you've recorded over a week, a month, a quarter, etc. That's sort of standard, but let's go a bit more granular. You can automatically create an activity against a campaign when somebody opens an email, for an example. That then becomes a really useful piece of information because you probably want to follow up that person, that contact, that lead. Activities against Helpdesk. How long does it take us to resolve an issue? How many activities do we create? Activities against projects. You might have a project plan, which is actually an action plan. Is that working? Are we always completing all of the tasks? Really useful, really helpful. Thanks, Tom.
A basic premise to bear in mind: if the data is stored in your CRM, then you can report on it. I hope you like what you've seen so far. If so, please like this video, subscribe to our channel, and we'd love to see your comments below. Having covered the activities module itself, we're going to look at how these and other actions fit into the wider picture. Don't forget that activities are the glue that hold your data together. Whether you use OpenCRM to manage your opportunities, help desk, or for help with the delivery of projects or the completion of sales orders, you will use activities to track them at every step of the way. Often we find that conditional action plans work really well with projects. By triggering a series of actions each time the project status progresses, for example, you can keep a tight rein on things and make sure that your steps take place in a logical sequence from the project introductory call through to the project sign-off. What's more, any time or costs recorded on an activity are accumulated against the linked project, which gives you a great way of tracking the progress being made. From within a project, you can also view the project calendar. If you click the button, it will take you to a calendar view of all the activities that relate to that project. If you remember, Danny talked about color coding the calendar for different users. Here's a great example of where that comes in handy, as you can easily identify who's responsible for each activity based on the color used for each calendar entry. As well as projects, you can view a calendar specific to events. Both these modules are dependent on particular steps being carried out in a timely fashion, so this calendar view is in fact a very powerful tool. Give yourselves a far deeper reach and make activity management an integral part of your project schedules. You'll thank me for it. Helpdesk ticketing is another area of the system that relies on activities to track the issue through to resolution. In fact, Helpdesk and Opportunities are unique in that they have an embedded activity right in the middle. When you're managing a Helpdesk ticket, you don't have to leave the screen with all the ticket details. Simply log your latest interaction, and before you save, you can decide if it's something you want to share with the customer. If so, you have the option to send comment or send closed email, and that will embed your notes into an email template and send to your customer automatically. Note that there is also the option to display tickets and comments on the portal. Keep an eye out for an upcoming webinar where we demonstrate how your customers can interact with you via your portal. If you think about it, there isn't an area of your CRM that is not driven by activities, as they are calls to action to help keep things moving in your business. For the final part of this webinar, we're going to look at how you can work with third-party tools and OpenCRM in the context of activity management. Let's start with Jotform. This is a third-party form building tool. You can set forms up so that when they are completed and submitted, they automatically create or update data in OpenCRM. A typical use case scenario for this is a Contact Us form that sits on your website. When this is filled in, you can set it up to auto-create a lead in OpenCRM and an associated activity that instructs a salesperson to make contact with that lead. For other solutions, for example Gravity Forms or data uploaded to a Google Sheet, you can get that information into OpenCRM in pretty much the same way by using Zapier. OpenCRM has a native integration with both Jotform and Zapier, and we recently published a webinar on those fantastic tools, so why not go and have a look. Finally, I want to briefly mention our OpenCRM integration with both Microsoft 365 and Google Suites. Syncing your OpenCRM with either Office or Google opens up endless possibilities. A lot of clients use our calendar integration to sync entries between OpenCRM and other calendar applications. For example, syncing from OpenCRM to Office means you have an easy way of getting your CRM entries into your Teams calendar. There are various config options available, so have a think about if you want the activity and task sync to work in both directions, or if you just want to push information into OpenCRM or only use the sync to push calendar and tasks out of OpenCRM. This will really depend on your use case scenario. You can configure these syncs at both individual and at organizational level to give you the right level of control. One last aside, although we consider activities and emails as separate items in your OpenCRM infrastructure, many of you use emails as part of your activity and account management. Don't forget you can use our free Pop to OpenCRM service to sync your business emails between your email client and OpenCRM. Most clients will have this already set up, but if you don't yet use this, do take a look at the resources we have that explain how this works. In summary, I hope you've understood some of the real benefits that can come with embedding your use of activities into your OpenCRM ecosystem. We love to explain and demo these features to you in our webinars and videos FAQs, so please remember to like this video and subscribe to our channel, and we look forward to seeing you on another webinar very soon.